Welcome to Geek Philosophy, where we love geeky wisdom. If you're new to the channel, my name's Brian, and today I'd like to give you a little bit of my own geek philosophy about the impact of the newly announced tabletop role-playing games on D&D and Wizards of the Coast. If you're a fan of tabletop role-playing games, then you know that the recent stuff that's been going on with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro really have caused a lot of buzz and controversy in the community. For those of you unfamiliar with the controversy, quick recap. Wizards of the Coast, the company behind D&D, faced a lot of criticism for the planned change for the open gaming license. I'll link to another video that has a much more detailed explanation. But the good news is that after the community stepped up in a big way, WotC decided to keep the OGL 1.0A in place. And they even went further by publishing the SRD for 5th edition, 5.1, under a Creative Commons license, meaning 5e effectively now belongs to the community, to everyone, and we can use it to create our own stuff. But even after that reversal from Wizards of the Coast, other companies like Paizo and Kobold Press are still pushing ahead with their own projects. Paizo welcomed the news, but still believes that the ORC, or Open RPG Creative License, is necessary, and they're aiming to have the first draft ready this month. The ORC will be a system-agnostic license that allows all games to provide their own unique open rules reference documents that open up their individual game systems to the world. And Kobold Press, like I mentioned, is continuing with Project Black Flag, with their first phase of playtesting also starting this month. They also announced that they would officially be making their game compatible with 5th edition, so everyone already playing 5th edition can continue on with Project Black Flag. So what does this mean for the tabletop role-playing game community? Well, it's great that these companies are still moving forward, and players who may have only played D&D are likely to branch out to other games. I've heard that on my own channel. Some have even started playing existing RPGs. They're not waiting for the new stuff, but I think because of the unintentional buzz created by the OGL controversy, more and more people have their eyes on these new upcoming projects. They want to kind of be on the ground floor. So things like the ORC license and Project Black Flag, and even the stuff from Matt Colville and MCDM have a bunch of people excited. There are some risks for Wizards of the Coast, and one not so insignificant risk is Critical Role. They've been very cautious about what they've said publicly in this situation, but I think some of that is they've already had some agreements and NDAs, and they didn't really want to ruin any of that or step over any legal lines. But given some other conversations recently, I think it's very possible that they will produce their own version of a tabletop role-playing game, especially since their own gaming division, Darrington Press, has already created some tabletop games. If they launch something that is more of a tabletop role-playing game, I would wager it would be one of the biggest competitors to D&D. All that said, Wizards of the Coast has to rebuild the trust with the community if they plan on rebuilding the brand of D&D in a meaningful way. They're facing a tough challenge, especially since they're in the middle of playtesting their next game, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the participation in those 1D&D playtests drops as people start checking out the other tabletop role-playing games. Okay, so how can WotC keep people interested in 1D&D and possibly reacquire some of those canceled D&D Beyond subscribers? We have to acknowledge that they did the right thing. They took a step in the right direction by keeping the OGL 1.0A and releasing the SRD 5.1 into Creative Commons. They did what we asked them to do, and that was big. But I'm going to put my divination hat on for a second, and I'm going to predict some things that they're going to do. 3 things that I think they're going to do to help turn things around. And I think it would help to build back trust. And the first thing is they're going to release the SRDs for their previous editions for Creative Commons. It was a great move for 5e, so why not do that for the earlier editions that use the OGL for their games? Second, I bet they'll make a public commitment to publish the SRD for the next version of D&D, whatever it's called, under either Creative Commons or some other open gaming license. Third, I think they actually might join in signing on to the ORC. Okay, this may be a long shot, but hear me out. They have a movie about to launch soon. They have a TV show in development. They're playtesting the next version of the game. All the while, they've had trouble on the other side of their company with Magic the Gathering. So WotC needs something to reaffirm its connection with the larger community. So joining a group of over 1,500 tabletop RPG publishers could be the right step towards showing solidarity with the community and acknowledging that the community is what made them what they are. And I think all of these steps, all three that I laid out, would show that WotC is at least better understanding what the community needs and wants and their audience, the people that buy their stuff. Hey, that's just my guess. What's your thought on this? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out and listening to a little bit of my own personal geek philosophy. I want to make sure that I mention this because every YouTube channel has to. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do that. The reason that all these channels say that, by the way, is because it really does help. It really helps YouTube and the people that punch the buttons and the computers that do the things and the AIs that go beepity beep. It makes people find our channels and see our videos. So thanks for that. And today I'm going to leave you with a little bit of geek philosophy from the Legendborn series by Tracy Dion. You should check it out if you haven't. It's a really good series. They that would be a leader, let them be a bridge. Cheers.